Did you know that the internet is running out of IP addresses? That's right, IPv4 is nearly exhausted, but there's a next-gen solution, IPv6. With trillions of new addresses, smarter routing, and enhanced security, IPv6 is transforming the way devices connect. Imagine a world where every gadget, car, and even Mars rovers have their own IP. Ready to future-proof your networking skills? Stay tuned and master the power of IPv6, because the future of the internet starts now. In this course, we'll look at why we need IPv6 and what the differences are with IPv4. Since the birth of the internet, the IPv4 protocol has always been used for IP addressing. The problem is that today, we are running out of IPv4 addresses. An IPv4 address is encoded on 32 bits, which gives us 4 billion IP addresses. Remember our different classes in IPv4. A Class C gives us 256 IP networks. A Class B provides more than 65,000 IPs per network. And a Class A gives more than 65,000 IP addresses because of the default subnet mask in /8. Now imagine that a large company, such as Microsoft or Apple, have one or more Class A networks. Could they use them all? Of course not. In this case, we call it waste of IP address. To compensate for this shortage, there is the technique of VLSM, which aims to create subnets of varying size. This makes it possible to optimize the efficiency of address distribution. We also have NAT and PAT, which allows you to have multiple private IP addresses behind a single public IP address. Despite these two techniques, this is still not enough to compensate for this lack of IPv4 addresses. With the growth that the internet has experienced more than 20 years ago, we needed more IP addresses. And that's how IPv6 was born. Compared to 32-bit IPv4, IPv6 has addresses of 128 bits. When we know that each additional bit doubles the number of IP addresses, this gives us an unlimited number of IPv6 addresses. Since to saturate the system, we would have to place more than 667 million billion devices connected to the internet on every square millimeter of the Earth's surface. Basically, with IPv6, it is possible to connect Earth, Moon, planet Mars, and even the rest of the universe. IPv6 addresses are written in hexadecimal. IPv4 and IPv6 are not compatible. That is to say that many protocols had to be updated or replaced to be able to work with IPv6. Like what? OSPF has moved from V2 to V3. ICMP is now called ICMP version 6. And ARP has been replaced by NDP. Remember our IPv4 header? Well, in IPv6, it's much more simple and uncluttered. In blue, we have what has been modified. In red, what has been deleted. In green, which has not changed. And in purple, which is new. The main advantage of having a much simpler header is for routers, because they will have much less work to do. So, let's talk about routing. The RIP protocol is now called RIPing. The NG stands for Next Generation. OSPF is moving to version 3. Version 2 is for IPv4. The BGP protocol, which is the only one to be part of the external routing protocols, becomes MPBGP. The word MP stands for multi-protocol, and IGRP becomes IERPv6. We will now see the format of an IPv6 address. There are 8 parts made up of 4 hexadecimal digits each. Entering an IPv6 address is a lot of work. Imagine calling a friend and asking if they can ping to the IPv6 address that is displayed in the example. I have to admit that you will spend more time spelling the address than asking him to ping. Fortunately, it is possible to shorten IPv6 addresses. For example, if there are several parts composed of zeros, which follow, we can delete them and replace them with 2:::. Be careful! This shortcut can only be done once per address. It is still possible to shorten our address even more. If we have a block of 4 zeros, we can delete them and leave only one of them. And there is one last trick to shorten our address. You can remove all zeros at the beginning of each game. And that's what our shortened IPv6 address looks like.